I am working on a movie script with some brilliant minds, and during our last meeting, one of us made an analogy that struck me deeply. Guys, compare this to a pot of jollof rice that everyone is eager to eat. We don't want them to reach the bottom of the pot before they finally have a good taste of the meal. They must enjoy the meal all through. This analogy stayed with me and reminded me of the story of my friend, Ku. Ku became a single parent at the age of 25 after losing her husband soon after the birth of their last child, Dy. She had her first child at 16, so at the time of her husband's death, her eldest, Ft, was only 9. The weight of raising her 5 children alone was immense. But she was determined to do it right. She disciplined them when necessary, guided them through their academics, took them to church, and tirelessly taught them about the importance of hard work, integrity, and staying away from bad influences. She constantly warned them about drugs, reckless friends, and destructive habits. At first, the children were appreciative and respectful. Then, when Ft turned 15, everything changed. He started misbehaving, hanging out with the wrong crowd, drinking excessively, and smoking. School no longer interested him. Ku was heartbroken. Where had she gone wrong? She pleaded, disciplined, prayed, and sought counsel from family and professionals. But nothing changed. At 18, Ft was arrested and sentenced to 10 years for drug dealing. Ku's world crumbled. Then, one after the other, her next 3 children began following a similar path, not into crime, but into a life of defiance, disrespect, and disregard for their mother. They saw her as old-fashioned and out of touch. They refused to help with chores, rejected her advice, and distanced themselves emotionally. For 8 years, Ku battled depression, anxiety, and exhaustion. She visited Ft in prison every week while trying to hold the rest of the family together. Friends advised her to focus on Dy, her last child, who was still respectful and helpful. But she couldn't give up on any of them. She believed they would change. Then, Ft was released early. Unknown to his mother, he had earned a degree in health sciences in prison and was determined to become a doctor. Upon his return, he was shocked by the state of his younger siblings, except for Dy. The first thing he did was apologize to his mother for the pain he had caused her. Then, he made it his mission to turn his siblings' lives around. And he did. With relentless determination, Ft became a mentor and leader to his siblings, steering them away from bad habits. Gradually, they changed. They went back to school, became respectful and responsible, and showered their mother with love. Ku, for the first time in decades, felt true peace. She thanked God, her late husband, and her ancestors. For a few years, the family thrived. Then, just as Ku began to exhale, Dy, the one child who had never given her trouble, started spiraling. Dy fell in love with a neighborhood drug dealer. Her mother and siblings warned her, pleaded with her, and tried to intervene, but she refused to listen. I am old enough to take care of myself. She snapped. Let me be. Ku was emotionally drained. She had spent more than 20 years fighting for her children's well-being, and just when she thought she had won, she found herself back in the trenches. She was now almost 50, having devoted her entire life to raising her children. Could she start this battle again? A close friend, Gh, tried to comfort her. Have faith, Gh said. Just like the others, Dy will change too. But Ku sighed deeply and asked, is it wrong for me, as a loving, hard-working parent who wants nothing but the best for my children, to expect consistent peace of mind? Must parenting always be a road filled with thorns? Must I wait till the end of my life to enjoy the fruits of my labor? And here, the jollof rice analogy returned to my mind. Ku's life was like a pot of jollof rice. She had given her children everything, the best ingredients, the right seasoning, and time to cook into something rich and nourishing. But for too long, she had tasted only the burnt parts of the meal. She had waited and waited for the sweetness of parenting, only to get brief moments of joy before another bitter bite. Shouldn't she, like every loving parent, get to enjoy the meal all through, not just at the bottom of the pot, when time is almost up?